We all probably saw this over the weekend, and I feel like all the jokes wrote themselves. You know what I mean? It's just so silly that we have to pretend, and that left-wing media pretends that WNBA players don't already get paid far more than the value they bring to the league and to the sports environment. You've got one player who's deserving, or at least the most deserving, in Caitlin Clark. The players loathe her more than they loathe Donald Trump. Like, they hate her because she's good, and she happens to be white, I think, is the other issue, at least for some of the players. Then they've got, what's her name, Angel Reese, who's the worst, who gets a whole lot of money and is propped up by the league and by media all the time as some sort of success story when she's not. And then they whine about not getting paid. And they'll whine about not getting paid while not even able to fill a stadium to the quarter of the seats that are available.
The league has never turned a profit in its entire existence.
How dare you with your sexism and white supremacy, heteronormative, cisgendered patriarchy? How dare you, sir? Now, what you said is factually accurate, but how dare you? So they wore these stupid T-shirts that said, "Pay us what you owe us." I think they are, what's the word thing about biting the hand that feeds you?
Yeah, you're biting the hand that feeds you.
Kind of feels like they're doing that now. That they have an all-star game is already kind of silly. How could you have an all-star game when you only have a player and maybe a half who knows what to do? And people, if you don't have any familiarity with WNBA, and I'm not pretending that I have a ton of familiarity, but if you're not at all familiar with the WNBA and you just listen to the way I talk about them, you might assume I'm just being mean. Am I inaccurate?
No.
They're just not good. They're not. And even in the context of playing other crappy players, they're not good. Except for Caitlin Clark, who is legitimately outstanding. I don't know how she would fare against men in a game, but if it was just like a shooting contest, she would hold her own, right?
I mean,
just what's that stupid three-point contest thing? Like, if you just did that, isn't the height and the
I mean, she wouldn't embarrass herself.
Yeah, I'm saying she'd hold her own. That's all I'm saying. She'd probably do better than a lot, and maybe she would do worse than a few. But she's clearly talented. And again, in that context, you're not even going up against anyone except for the clock, right? You've got a little bit of pressure there. But she's very, very good. Now, playing against men, she would still be overpowered. She's getting overpowered by female athletes who are, similarly less strong or not as strong as the men. So she'd probably still lose. But if you saw anyone at the WNBA and you said to yourself, oh, she's actually pretty good, it's probably Caitlin Clark. And if you said, how many bricks is possible? Like, that's probably Angel Reese. So to wear these T-shirts and then have it get amplified on social media as if they're not getting paid what they're worth is just so silly. They're not bringing in the revenue. They're not making revenue. They're not selling it. The only player who is probably profitable is, in fact, Caitlin Clark. She sells jerseys. She sells tickets. When she was here, I don't even know what team she's on. The team that she's on, playing the Storm, they actually sold tickets for once.
She's on the Indiana
Storm,
whatever they're called.
Indies, the Indiana Indies.
I forgot.
She's on. Weirdly, I didn't know she was in Indiana, but she's selling seats, and people are talking about her. And one can argue she's one of the most influential athletes right now in all sports across all leagues because of her importance to the game. Pay her what she's worth. How about that? Let's give her more money. I'm okay giving her more money. And the average person who celebrates this or who probably retweeted it, give them what they're worth. I guarantee you, if you take Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese out, they couldn't name a single player. Can you name a single player on the Storm now? You can't say Sue Bird.
Does Breanna Stewart still play here?
You ask me that as if I'm going to answer the question.
I thought maybe you pulled it up or something. I don't know.
I couldn't tell you a single player. No one can tell you a single player. I can tell people right now to cheat and go online and find the name of a player
no,
on
she
the
doesn't
Storm.
play here anymore,
Yeah,
so
there
no,
you go.
I can't name one.
No one can name any of them. No one can name them. And you would have no idea that there was even a WNBA All-Star game unless people were talking about these stupid shirts. You think anyone watched the game? What was the score? 17-12? When you're scoring more goals in a soccer game than you are in making points in a basketball game, it's a bad sign. It's a bad sign. Otherwise, though, they're very hardworking. And, I do sometimes feel mean. And I feel bad for being mean towards them because they're, it's not their fault they're not good. Or they work in a league that's not very good. They're following their dream. And kudos to including Caitlin Clark. Again, I want them all to succeed. I'm just not going to pretend that there's some sort of sexist conspiracy to keep them from making what they're worth. If they actually got paid what they're worth, they'd all be indigent. They'd all be living out on the streets. They're already getting paid more than their value. That's the truth. Now that could change. And you know what? Maybe Caitlin Clark, the biggest thing that she does for the league is get more competent women to want to join the WNBA, maybe inspire younger girls to put, a lot of work into their game and then, eventually get into the WNBA, or young boys who identify as girls.
I was going to say, get some trans women in there.
I mean, they would at least do well. That's the one argument I guess I could make for trans athletes. It could save the WNBA. It could actually
form a very weird coalition.
What? It's true though. First of all, I would watch that. I'd certainly watch one matchup, and at least there'd be some talent.